Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Paul, your hip hop relationship and recovery coach, and I'm bringing to you another episode to kick your butt out. As usual, before I go off into what we're going to be talking about today, I have to say what I always say. And again, I strongly encourage you to hear this so that you can incorporate this into your lives. And that is, if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. And that, my friends, is a promise. All right, all right. So, um, what I'm going to be talking about, it's going to possibly be, it's going to need to have a few different episodes or parts to this because one of the things that I don't want to do, I don't want to rush through this content because it's so valuable and so important. And I wanted to give people the opportunity to actually hear what it is. Think about how what I'm going to be talk about applies to your lives and what are some of the things that we can do, whether together or individually, to make this thing that I'm going to be talking about a little better. Um, the subject that I'm going to be talking about today, I got it. I got the information from one of the textbooks that I used as I was studying to become a recovery coach. Um, the information speaks to people who are seeking lives of recovery. But what I've learned over the years, because I've been given the privilege of being able to use this information in presentations and talks and things of that nature, even when I'm doing one-on-ones with some of my clients, I've been given the privilege of being able to use this information. And all of the situations where I talked about this information and brought light to this information, every last one of the people that I spoke to about it had an aha moment. And again, like I said, this information comes out of the textbook that I used as I was studying to be a recovery coach. But the thing I've learned because of all of the times that I've used this and all of the situations and instances that these things have come up, I've learned that all of us, this information applies to all of us. And what it's called is, it's the 8 dimensions of wellness. And I'm saying this, I've learned professionally and personally that you don't have to be a person in recovery from any type of vices, substance use, drugs, alcohol, or whatever you want to call it. You don't have to be a person who's seeking recovery or in recovery from those things for this to apply to you as well. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me say this. I have, in my experience, when I was, overcome with substance use disorder, I was around situations where there were entire families, right? That the whole family was messed up from a standpoint of substance use, whatever type of substance. It was all kind of substances. You got the entire family, the brothers, the sisters, the uncles, the aunts, the nieces, the nephews, you name it. Everybody was messed up. And then I've been around families, entire families where no one has criminal backgrounds, no one has ever had any substance use disorder. Everyone has careers, everyone has families and things that, the American dream. The entire family has built a culture of living that American dream. And the thing that I noticed, I said to myself on many occasions, wow, I know families who drug addicts and alcoholics that are less dysfunctional than this family. And again, this family was supposed to, and that's one of the reasons why I want to talk about this today, because we have this misconception, and I'm going to kill this misconception. we have this misconception that if you didn't suffer from, again, drug addiction, alcoholism, uh, a life of crime, criminal background, you have a college degree, again, career, you name it. You have all of these things going for you that you're okay. The people who became addicts and alcoholics and been in prison, teenage pregnancy, children out of wedlock, you name it. Those are the people who are messed up. And the reality of it is, like the scripture says, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So in some ways, we are all messed up. In some ways, we all need help. So I want to talk about this from an 8 dimension of wellness standpoint. Again, it just gives some insight on what these 8 dimensions are, how it applies to everybody. A way to acknowledge that you'll have this information about these 8 dimensions. How can I apply the wellness part of these to my life? Because these 8 dimensions are the makeup of all of our lives. Everybody that's at the age of adult or understanding, this can apply to every last one of us. So let me first mention all 8 of the dimensions of wellness, and they reads as this: spiritual, social, financial, emotional, environmental, intellectual, physical, and occupational. Again, that applies to every last one of us. All of us have a spiritual side. All of us have a social side. All of us have a financial side. All of us have an emotional side. All of us have an environmental side. All of us have an intellectual side. All of us have a physical and an occupational. What we want to do, this is designed to help us to create a healthy balance as it relates to the 8 dimensions of wellness that, again, applies to all of our lives. We're not looking for perfection, because someone said it like this: perfection equals paralysis. Perfection is what hinders us. So we're not looking for perfection. We just want a healthy balance of what the 8 dimensions of wellness are in our lives. And so again, because of this, I've titled today's episode of Kick Your Butt Out, but your dimensions ain't well. Let me say it again. But your dimensions ain't well. So again, let's talk about how we can get them well. Now, I'm gonna go to the first one. And the first one is, this is always my favorite. And I always started off like this because this is the most important aspect of our being. This is the innermost part of who we are, of our makeup, and that's spiritual, right? So it reads as this: spiritual, expanding our sense of purpose and meaning in life. Expanding our sense of purpose and meaning in life. So first, I want to talk about the spiritual aspect for all of you people out there who are listening to this podcast who don't believe that there's a God, because everybody has a spiritual side. Whether you believe in God or not, you still have a spiritual side. And that spiritual side is the one that says, hey, don't do that. Don't say that. Don't go there. Stop. Move. Leave. That's that. And it's all of those things I just said. It is saying those things to us for our good, not for our bad. So that's the spiritual aspect of who of our being. And it's for all of you who don't believe, that part of that voice in your head or wherever you may want to feel like it's coming from that says those things, that's that spiritual side. Now, accompanied with that, it talks about expanding, right? Our sense of purpose. Here's the unfortunate. Many of us in this world are walking through this world with absolutely no concept of purpose. And I'm talking about people who have careers. I'm talking about people who have families. I'm talking about people who own drugs. I'm talking about people who are messed up. I'm talking about everybody. It's many of us who are walking through this world, walking this earth, have been in this world multiples of years, and you may be doing something positive with your life, but it's not your purpose. But it's not your purpose. And many of us, because we have bought into the propaganda of what somebody else said our purpose is supposed to be, we're living that thing out and we miserable as all get out. And we wonder why. Because see, your spiritual side has everything to do with what your purpose is and you walking in your purpose. Put it to you like this. I went to school. By trade, I'm a certified welder as well as a press operator. By trade, I'm certified in both of those areas. I can get it. I can get a job making good money right now. Right now, I could stop this podcast, get rid of the studio, and go right into welding or press operating and make really good money. The thing that I found out right after I got done taking classes to become a certified welder, right when I got my certifications, I ended up getting a job almost immediately, a good job. I realized that that wasn't my purpose. I realized, as a matter of fact, wow, as a matter of fact, and some of you all out there may be able, not maybe, you can relate to what I'm about to say. Lots of us know what our purpose is, but we're running from it. We're doing some other stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with our purpose. And we know that these things aren't our purpose. And then again, we wondering why we're going through life feeling so unfulfilled. We unhappy. Again, we empty. We accepting anything. We accepting anybody. I said it like this the other day. We basically going through life waiting on our turn to die. That's all we doing. That's pretty much all we doing with a career, with a family, with a business, whatever the case. I'm talking about from a you're successful in many ways, right? As what we look at success is. You're successful in many ways. But the most important part that you need to be successful in, you failed over and over again. And that's the spiritual side because you're not walking in purpose. The other thing is that when it talks about the spiritual aspect of the 8 dimensions of wellness, the meaning of life. What does your life mean? There's a song where the writer and the singer says, every puzzle needs a different piece, meaning that there's not 2 of the same pieces of any puzzle. And that puzzle, every piece in that puzzle has meaning, has its own meaning. You ever put a puzzle together, right? And you get all the way to the end. You can put 1,199 pieces together. This thing is looking gorgeous. One piece missing. That's almost how we go through life. That piece or that piece that means the most, because when you put that puzzle together again, you got 1,199 pieces together. That one piece that's not there has the most meaning. But the puzzle ain't complete because it's not there. That's the same thing with us. That's the exact same thing with every last one of us. We are not fulfilling our purpose, and we do not know what the meaning of life is for us. And even if we do, we spend our lives running, because this is what we are doing. We're going through this world, or going through this earth, or going through this time that God gives us here, doing what we want to do, not what we need to be doing. And so when you think about the spiritual aspect, or the spiritual dimension of your makeup, or the spiritual part of your makeup, if that's not healthy, you can rest assured the rest of them aren't either. You're not going to be healthy in terms of a nice balance in any area of your life if any one of these dimensions aren't well, let alone your spiritual. So when you think about the 8 dimensions of wellness, your spiritual makeup is the first, in my opinion, is the first and most important aspect of your being. And again, like I said, you do not have to be in recovery for this to relate to you, because again, I know many people who have never had any issues lacking and failing in every one of these dimensions and needs this information. So I'm gonna get off the spiritual, but I'm gonna end it with this. Again, even if you don't believe in God, you still have a spiritual side. For all of us who say we believe in God, for all of us who say Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, for all of us who have some faith or some belief in that one and only and true living God, and you are walking through this thing religious, stop wondering why you're unfulfilled, because this thing is about relationship with God, not a religion. Again, the Bible talks about how religion separates us. So anyway, I'm gonna get off the spiritual part. Y'all got enough information. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you need more information, please, when ask the questions, in the chat, comment, post, whatever you need to do. I'll be sure to get you the answer. If I don't have it, I know somebody who does, and would love to help you get the answer. Because the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to help us, because I don't know. Somebody said it yesterday like this: I don't know if you've been living up under a rock or not. It's a big butt going on in this world, in this country. Forget the world. Forget the world. We're going to start right here in our own backyard. It's a big butt that's screwing all of us up who are not paying attention in this country. A counselor said it to me like this one time. He said, Paul, in order for somebody to screw you, you got to first put yourself in position. And that is exactly what we're doing while we're just going through this thing like there's nothing happening right before our eyes. We need to wake up and get well so that we can be able to navigate through this thing in the best way possible. Because if you keep on sleeping, when this storm hits, and it's coming, you ain't gonna be able to say, I didn't tell you, or someone else, because I'm doing this right now because I got some information, right? I got some spiritual information, and I got some book information, as well as I have been seeing signs and talking to people who have been saying this exact same thing. So again, please check this thing out, pay attention. Let's have some interactions around what I'm talking about right now. So if you know God as your Lord, if Jesus as your Lord and Savior, if you say that God is your Father, you need to get out of religion and into a relationship so he can give you the revelation that this stuff is about to happen. Again, I ain't even talking about the world yet. I'm talking about this country. All right. So let me go to the next one. Now, the second part is important because if you have an individual, so all of us are we were created with emotions. We allow our emotions to control us rather than us being able to control our emotions. They said 100% of the time, if you act or speak based on your emotions, it's going to come out wrong. I'm talking about the bad, the bad emotions. And so the second dimension of the eight dimensions of wellness that I want to speak about today is your emotional state. We have to learn how to control our emotions and not allow our emotions to control us. What am I saying? How do you do that? Okay, I'm feeling sad, right? Okay, I'm not going to do I'm not going to have the normal reaction to what sadness brings, because sadness can bring depression, sadness can bring suicide ideations, sadness can bring I need to go get high, I need to get drunk, whatever the case may be. Sadness can bring about a whole lot of unhealthy things. So if I'm sad, how do I learn how to cope with being sad? If what am I sad about? Can I have a conversation with somebody about what am I sad about? A healthy conversation, because let me explain this to you. We this is what we do, unfortunately. But we wonder why our lives are so messed up. You got a sad person that goes to get comfort from another sad person. I'm gonna do this on that one. That's what you do. This is what we do. This is what we do. You got a sad person that'll go find another person. Now, what? Let me get a little bit deeper. You'll have a sad person go find a person who is more sad than they are and ask them for advice. You'll have a mad person go get another person that's more angry and ask them what to do with the anger. And then what you expect is gonna happen? What if I'm angry and you come to me with some anger? I'm not gonna tell you to go pray. I'm not gonna tell you to go get a good book. I'm gonna say, listen, what can we do together to hurt or harm whatever has made us angry? And this is the crazy stuff that we're doing. So I want to help you get well in this emotional area. And so let me read what it says. The emotional aspect of the eight dimensions of wellness says this: coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. Coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. So if I'm sad and I know that, or watch this, if I'm sad or angry or mad or whatever the case may be, and I know from my track record of being sad, of what I usually do or what I normally do when I'm sad, angry, or mad, if I know that what I normally do is what it's not healthy, and the outcome that it's going to always bring, I need to be trying to change that. Because if you do what you always did, you're going to get what you always got. So if I'm acting out according to the way that I usually or normally act out, or the way society teaches me how to react, I'm gonna get what I always got. So how do I learn how to cope effectively with life? Find somebody that's coping effectively with life. understand the detriment that happens if I'm coping ineffectively with life. I know, listen, I know if I get high, I'm going to jail if I don't die. I know I am. That's my track record. That has been my track record for 30 years of my life. Well, no, about 18. About 18 of those 30 years that I got high, my track record was if I got high, I'm going to jail. And I usually got high because I was sad, mad, angry, hurt, depressed, or whatever the case may be. Even sometimes I was celebrating. Still, I wasn't managing that emotion in an effective way. So again, like if my the Temptations had a song that says, "Just my imagination running away with me. Just my emotions running away with me." That's what we do. And we have to stop our emotions from running away with us. And like I said, how do you do that? How do you do that? Man, listen, if I can't see, I'm not gonna go get somebody blind to help me cross the street. I'm finding somebody who can see. And that's what I'm saying. Especially us as men. Let me say this, especially us as men. We do not know how to go and admit that something is going on and we ain't the strongest right now. That's why so many men, watch this, man, I gotta say it. That's why so many men are not in their place. That's why so many of these women have no respect for the men in this world, especially us black men, because we are not in our place due to the fact that we are not effectively coping with life. Due to the fact that we are not tapped into our spiritual side, into the meaning of life, into the purpose of life. When we get in our place, as men, we don't have to worry about what's going on no more. Because they say you in relationships, you teach people how to treat you. So if you get in your place, man, you're going to teach people how to treat you like a man. All right. So creating satisfying relationships. The first relationship that I got to create that's got to be satisfying is the one with myself. I got to start taking care of me. I have to start taking care of me. I'm gonna leave that for another episode. I'm coming back with it, though, trust me. But I have to start taking care of me. So I have to start to create a healthy relationship with myself first. Then all the other ones just gonna start to work themselves out. Because people gonna know how people, even unhealthy people, watch this. If you're treating yourself, if you have a healthy relationship with yourself, even unhealthy people gonna act healthy when they interact with you. They're gonna act healthy in their interactions toward you, even toward you and with you. Can't get past it. But you got to do it to yourself first. So what does a satisfying relationship with me look like? That's what you have to ask yourself. What does a satisfying relationship with me look like? And then you start to work that thing out. You start to create that thing. And like I said, people are going to act and treat you accordingly. And if you really want to know what a satisfying relationship is, get a healthy relationship with the 8 dimensions of wellness. You can't be nothing but satisfied. All right. So again, don't allow your emotions to control your actions. Don't allow your emotions to control your interactions. Don't allow your emotions to make you react, because more often than not, if you allow your emotions to control you, you basically going to end up reacting. And again, it's not going to be good. Listen to me, people. Please. Again, I'm trying to help us because we got something coming. And if you think that you okay, I'm sorry to tell you, probably not. But here's the good but. This is what kick your butt out is all about. Helping us to get well, helping us to get okay, helping us to get better. That's what this is all about. So lastly, again, the emotional aspect of the 8 dimensions of wellness says coping effectively with life. When life show up, you gonna show up too. When life, my life used to be when life show up, I'm going to get high. When life show up, I'm running. When life show up, I'm gonna disappear. That's what life used to be like for me because I knew, let me say it like this. I only knew 2 emotions before 2015. I only knew 2 emotions. That was anger and rage. That's what I was taught. The culture that I grew up in, the people that I was around, even in my household, anger and rage. You was mad, you was angry, and you was cussing, you was hollering. That's the 2 emotions. I didn't even understand what these other emotions were until 2015. And somebody had said it to me like this. You know, I talked about being angry and rageful, and they said, that anger and rage is a secondary emotion. Well, what's the primary emotion? Sadness, hurt, pain. And when I sat down and thought about that, it was an aha moment. I said, you know what? Those were the real emotions that I was feeling. I only knew how to act out on them in that way. So, coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. That's what the emotional aspect of the 8 dimensions of wellness is about. So we talked about the spiritual aspect. We talked about the emotional aspect. So the next one that I'm going to talk about, because again, it has to start with us. Physical. You are what you eat. Whether it's spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. You are what you eat, right? And so the physical aspect is, they say if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you look good. So how do we work on this physical part? Let me say, before I read what it says here on in terms of that dimension, I want to say something that my younger brother said one time. He talked about how we have a lot of these powerful spiritual leaders out in the world helping one another or helping us, men and women, right, to better the quality of their lives from a spiritual standpoint and many other standpoints, a relational, a family, of being a father, a better mother, a better husband, you name it. We have a bunch of these spiritual guys and gurus and ladies and queens that's doing their thing in terms of giving us the information, right, that's going to help the better the quality of our lives. Here goes the but. But their bodies are so torn to pieces from eating unhealthy, not getting the proper rest. They talk about it on the airplane. If the bags come down for the mask, don't put the mask on somebody else first. Put it on yourself. That's what they teach you on the airplane. But a lot of these spiritual leaders are putting the mask on other people and not putting it on themselves, and ending up from a physical, they dying in so many ways because their physical makeup is not being taken care of. Let me explain something to y'all. Yeah, that pizza tastes good. Yeah, that Popeyes tastes good. Yeah, those tater chips and that pop and all of that other crazy stuff that we be out here eating, all that stuff tastes good and look good, but it don't feel good. I'm on a fitness challenge right now because I had gotten to a weight that I had never been in my life. My feet were swelling up. My hands were swelling up. I'm on blood pressure medication. Well, not having to take it now because I've went back to this wellness part of my physical being. Um, yes, yes. All of these things started to happen to me because I wasn't taking care of my physical being. And I'm a motivational speaker as well. I speak at a treatment center to men twice a week, adding value to these men, talking to these men about what recovery is about, talking to these men from a standpoint of the 8 dimensions of wellness. Again, telling them, yes, you can beat this, you can overcome this, you can recover from this. But I'm looking like I got a tire around my body because I'm not eating right. That didn't work. That didn't work for me. I'm a practice what you preach type of guy. So while I'm just like I'm preaching this right now, I'm practicing what I preach. And so I'm on a fitness challenge. I'm doing well with it. And I'm going to continue to do this fitness challenge because again, I need to be here as it relates to the purpose and meaning of my life. I told my God, if you save me from this madness, I'm going to spend the rest of my life telling people about your goodness from this aspect. And that's what I've been doing. And I want to continue to do this because the more I do this, the more I learn that we are a messed up people. Here's the biggest problem with this. Here's the biggest but of all of it. Y'all ready for this? We don't have to be. We don't have to be. We could change this. It's simple. All right. I'm getting a little, but I'm emotional about this because I'm passionate about life now. I want to see people live. It's too many people dying that doesn't have to. I have a dead brother that didn't have to, and he was a genius. He did not have to die at the age of 57. The guy was a genius. He wasn't taking care of himself. So anyway, physical. Recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. There is a need for it, not a want, not an option. There is a need for activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. I love peach cobbler. I love Popeye's chicken. Can't eat it. I may be able to get a cheat day on the holidays or a couple of times a year, whatever the case may be. I'm at that point where I know that this cannot be a regular in terms of 2-3 times a month. I don't even feel like I could do it that way because the aftermath, right, of it is I have to take all type of antacids. My butt is on fire the next morning. This it's running out of me. You name it. I always have a consequence behind the so-called good food that I be eating. It's always a consequence. So in order to stop having consequences, I got to change what I'm doing. And you got to do the same thing. What is your diet looking like? What you eating? Are you getting the proper sleep? Are you getting the proper nutrition? Are you getting the proper activities? Are you moving around? Are you doing stuff? Listen, my mama said if you able-bodied, you need to be doing something. If you're able-bodied, you need to be doing something, especially now. So that physical part, you can be the sharpest attack in the bunch when it comes to spiritual. You can be the sharpest attack in the bunch when it comes to being an intellect. You can be the sharpest attack in the bunch in many different aspects and areas of your life. But if your physical part, your physical aspect is lacking, you cheating us or we cheating them. Yeah. My wife always says it. I need you to be around. I'm a little older than my wife, and I understand. But she says, I need you to be around. And you're not going to be around. You keep eating like that, Paul. Cookies and cakes and all that kind of stuff. And I work from home. My office is in my house, right? So I had to create a routine that allows me to get out more. Because due to the fact that my office is in my house and lots of my work can be done, online and all of those kind of things, I'm sitting in the house all day, some days, eating all day, some days. And guess what I do after I get done eating? I go to sleep. I ain't going to the gym after I get done eating. The way that I was eating. Let me say it like that. The way that I was eating. And you have to stop the same thing. Listen, it may taste good, but it's not good for you. It may feel good, but it's not good for you. Get the proper sleep, get the proper nutrition, get the proper diet, get the proper exercise, meaning move. We were created to move. We were created to be in the light. Go. Let's get up out of here. And I'm listen, my routine now gets me out of my house daily, and I get me some good exercise in. And my diet has drastically changed. I lost 14 pounds in 1 week because I changed my diet. Let me say it like 14 pounds in 1 week because I changed my diet. And I don't get high. I ain't taking no weight loss medications or none of that. I'm eating God's green food. That's what I've been eating, God's green food. And it's been doing me some justice. So anyway, that's the other one. You got to get your physical taken care of. You got to get it taken care of. We got to get it taken care of. And like I said, man, listen, I love me some Popeyes and some Giordano's pizza from Chicago. Yeah. Some peanut butter cookies. My wife made the best cookies in the world. I forbid her to touch cookie. Anything that got anything to do with making a cookie in this house. She is forbidden. Because they like Frito-Lays to me. You can't eat just one. And we have to stop doing that to ourselves. Because again, we're cheating our loved ones. We're cheating the people that God wants us to be able to meet and probably minister to, not even from from a biblical standpoint, but just be able to bring a light to their lives. Just being able to bring some joy and some peace and some clarity, a sense of wellness to their lives. We cheating them if we're not taking care of ourselves physically. So the physical, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna end that one. I'm gonna end this physical dimension of wellness by saying recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. So now we've dealt with three. The first three things that we have dealt with as it relates to the 8 dimensions of wellness, all three of them had everything to do with us personally. Everything to do with us personally. Now, as you work on your spiritual, right? And your emotional, right? Your physical, right? How you going to be able to do that if you don't know? And it brings me to the fourth one, which is intellectual. We got to learn. recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. Listen, my pastor says it like this, and I may have said it on quite a few of my episodes to kick your butt out, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. My pastor says it like this, and he says, "You may not be a 10 everywhere, but you a 10 somewhere. Let's find out what that 10 is, and let's operate in that thing." So you have to educate yourselves. This is one of the dumbest statements. Now, I've heard many dumb statements, and you're going to probably hear them. As long as I'm doing kick your butt out, you're going to hear me say, I've heard this. This is a dumb statement that I've heard. So let me say this one. This is one of the dumbest statements that I've ever heard in my entire life. This all I know. It sounded dumb coming out, didn't it? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's dumb. Stop it. Here's one of the things I said this before too, but TDJ said it like this. He said, we're in the most intellectually sound and informationally sound generations ever. The problem is we don't use it in wisdom. We don't use the intellect that we have from a wise standpoint. We know everything about everybody else, and we don't know nothing about ourselves. I remember, and I may be going off subject, but then again, I may not. Here's what I watched two dudes. This was back in about 2014 when I was a mess. I was listening to two dudes, so-called bosses, ballers, arguing. These guys was arguing to the point where they was about to fight one another on who was right and who was wrong. Their intellect, their interest in their intellect, right? Their interest in their knowledge went to knowing how much money Jay-Z had. That was the scope of their intellect and knowledge. That was what was important to them. No, he got this much. No, he got that. This man don't even know y'all. And number two, he don't care about y'all. Period. Y'all arguing and about to fight each other because y'all arguing about what's in the next man's pocket. This is unfortunately the interest in our intellect, And I'm talking about all y'all people out there that love this goofy old rap music that they playing right now. That music has been killing people for years. I'm not going off topic. MC8, some of y'all might know who he is. He was a rapper back in the late 80s, early 90s, West Coast. So he had to be late 80s, early 90s. He was out the NWA. He made a rap talking about, the name of it was The Hood and Took Me Under. He told us about the detriment that the hood was bringing, the neighborhoods was bringing. He told us about this. And the only thing that we wanted to know is how can we become a part of it rather than how do we stop it? That's sad. That's sick. That's dangerous. We have been given too much intelligence to settle for something like that. And the worst part about it is that the powers that be, you got to kick your butt out. Let me say this. You got to kick your butt out because the powers that be are getting rich while you are doing it. They getting richer and wealthier off you being dumb. They getting rich and wealthier off of the fact that you're not interested in being intellectually sound. Your ignorance, your willingness to be ignorant is helping them stay wealthy. It's creating generational wealth to the place where they'll never see a poverty or poor day at your expense. But all your days are impoverished and poor because you have not tapped into into the intellectual aspect of the 8 dimensions of wealth. So your intellect can either be sick or well. Again, recognizing creative abilities because we are creative and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. We are creative. There's a lot of knowledge out there to get. We can sharpen and learn new skills. Now, watch this. Not new skills so that you could just do something to go through life. New skills so that you can get into your place. New skills, right? And new knowledge so that you can be your part of the puzzle. New skills and new knowledge so that you can be your 10. Not what somebody else's 10 is or not what somebody else told you your 10 is. Because when you find out who you are, you're going to know what your 10 is. It's just that simple. It's impossible for it to not happen. When you find out who you are, you're going to know what your 10 is. So I'm going to end this particular episode, and I'll get back to the other 4 dimensions of the 8 dimensions of wellness on my next episode to kick your butt out. But before I go, the first one, spiritual, expanding our sense of purpose and meaning in life, right? Emotional, coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. Physical, recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition, and learning something. Intellectual, recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. Listen, people, we need to get this thing right. We need to get well. Like I said, we are not looking for it to be perfect. We just need a healthy balance. Let's create a healthy balance. Let's help one another create a healthy balance. Because let me say this. You can't do this by yourself. You can't. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We need one another. So let's help each other to get these 8 dimensions of wellness in a healthy place. Be who we are. So again, when this storm comes, we won't get caught off guard. We'll be equipped to be able to, we'll have our umbrellas. We'll have our umbrellas. Because some people out there got theirs. What's wrong with us getting ours? I'm trying to help. Let's do this. Again, y'all, thank y'all so much. I love every last one of y'all. There's absolutely nothing that you can do to change that. Please share, comment, post, like, do what you do. People need to hear this. People need to hear this. People need to heed this. Because again, we're on our way to something. So until next time, be well, do the next right thing. God bless every last one of y'all. Thank you all so much for making Kick Your Butt Out what it is. Because it's you all who keep it moving. And last but not least, you either sitting on your butt or you standing on your why. This is Paul, your hip hop relationship and recovery coach, and I'm gonna talk to y'all next week. Deuces.